Hello and welcome back. My name is Yvette Quale. If you're new here, I'd like to welcome you to my channel where I like to share craft tutorials for beadwork, junk journaling, paper crafting, and more. In today's video, I'll be sharing how to make this cute charm for your junk journal. It is embroidery floss and different kinds of charms and beads on the dangles with paper on the top part here and on the back covered in paper, and then it has a little wood cutout on there. This is made out of chipboard. I'm going to walk you through the process on how to make this junk journal. This is a video for Newbie Junk Journal Makers Facebook group. I will put a link in the description box to that group, and it's a great group of ladies who like to share projects and tutorials, so it's a great place for inspiration. And we have a Yvette's Bead Club on there, which you can join in. It's a free open swap. And what you do is watch the video, make the item, and then do individual swaps within the group. If there's anyone who would like to swap, you take those on by yourself. We don't set up any partners or anything, so it's just kind of an open swap event. Or you can just create it and share your creations on there. Hashtag Yvette'sBeadClub. So I'll put a link to that as well. And usually I post those the first Monday of every month, but I had some things go on recently that prevented me from doing that. So anyway, I'm here now and I'm going to go ahead and share the process here. Let's put our sample aside, move this paper, and we have everything set up here. So what you're going to need, I used two different colors of embroidery floss, and these I just had in my stash, so I pulled a couple colors aside. You're going to want about 12 to 14 strands. You're going to want to cut those, which I've done here, to about 18 inches long. You're going to take two pieces of chipboard, cover one side of each of the pieces, then glue them together, and then punch a hole in them. So what I used was a crocodile and an eyelet. So this is my crocodile tool here. And I just put an eyelet in there. You don't necessarily have to do that. It just decorates it up a little bit more. So you can decorate this any way you want. In our sample here, this was a image from a journal kit from Rach and Bella Crafts, and that is going to be in the flip through of video of a journal that I completed using that kit. And on the back, it's another piece of paper from the kit with that little cutout. So let's go ahead and go through this a little bit. So I just glued those two pieces together. I inked up the edges. I do have my ink here. Grab that. So how I inked the edges on my sample here, as you can see, has some inking on there. So what I did was I just ran it along the ink pad like this. I found that was easier than trying to apply it to get it initially onto that chipboard. So if you don't have chipboard, you can go ahead and use any kind of thicker cardboard. That would work fine, or layer up a cereal box, and probably 3 or 4 layers, I would say, probably 4, to get the thickness. You want this to be about 1/8 of an inch thick. So go ahead and ink that up if you like. You could also use permanent marker around the edge and put any bling or anything on there that you want. I put a bulb pin at the top to hang it from. So what we're going to do is take the embroidery floss, again cut to 18 inches. I have about 12 on here, maybe 14. And you're just going to fold it in half, and you're going to twist that top. Get it as small as you can, because we're going to stick that through this hole, hopefully. Now, this was probably not going to be easy on camera as much as it was for me to make. So I continue to just kind of twist it. That's how I got it in there. I just kind of twist and pull until I get them through there. And this is probably the most difficult part. So once you get it through, you need to pull this all the way through and kind of find the middles of each of these. So this was the most tedious or time-consuming part for me anyway. I just kind of use my finger there to kind of pull those over. You want to kind of find that middle. So patience. Okay, we're just going to kind of pull those through, and what I did was kind of pull them back and forth till I found the ones that I wanted to cinch up a little bit more. So the important thing is to get each one of those loops on your finger so that it's divided on each side like this. Okay, then you're going to pull it down, put your fingers through like this, and I just pulled these through. This took a little time as well because, as you can see, there's a little slack on there, so you kind of want to pull each individual string to kind of get those cinched down and secured on there. And you can feel it when you get the right one, how it just will kind of pull it in. Again, kind of loosen that up a little. Just kind of tug at it till you get it how you want it. There we go. Again, this was the most tedious part for me. Took the longest to kind of get that smoothed out. But I did want a little bit of a fuller look. You could use less strands, but then it doesn't have quite that full look that I was going for. So it just depends on what you want to do. You could actually do this with just a couple little strands if you wanted, which would be really cute too for the right journal. So go ahead and cinch those down. Make sure the back is cinched down. And at this point, you're going to have basically this. Now at the bottom, they're going to all be uneven, and that's fine. And you want to choose beads that have a little bit larger hole in them, if possible. You could split these up even more. I just did them all. Let's put our sample over here. I just did them all on the solid string just because I didn't want to have to thread the needle and do all that stuff. So you can do that. You can use smaller ones. I've done that before. But just kind of slide it up where you want it. And then I just tie a knot. Depending on the size of the bead, you might have to tie a couple knots and in the same spot to get that knot a little bit thicker so the bead doesn't fall through. Let's see if that's big enough. We'll do one more on there just to be safe. So that's one way you can put it on there. And you could put another knot at the top if you wanted to kind of secure that, or you can let it be a little bit more loose. I tend to like the loose look. The other thing you can put on is a charm. I found if you put the charm on with the front facing toward the table, then when you, the way I tie it anyway, I tie around my finger like this and go through here. They tend to lay more with the charm facing out. Now that there is an advantage to using a charm that is double-sided. This one has a front and a back. But if you have one like these little keys, the front and the back are the same, so it doesn't matter how you put it on. So if you're picky about that, you can kind of try to line it up if you want. Another thing you can do is come up like this. Once you tie that on, you can come up here and tie another knot and just let that thread hang, but then this becomes more, let me find one here. So like this one, I did that way. I just came back up with a thread and tied another knot, so this is in a little separate little dangle. So just kind of keep going through, and you just tie on whatever beads you're going to use wherever you want to use them. Another thing you can do is tie around the bead like this. Rather than tying above or below it, you can actually tie the bead on, and that gives a little bit different look. Now, what I did at the end of all of my dangles is I tied another knot at the bottom, and that's just to kind of keep that whole thing from fraying, because I didn't want the thread to fray. So if you want it to fray and have a thinner individual strand, that's fine too. And just you kind of want to line these up, just, you know, so that there's some kind of space in between. And then what I did here on this one was I just braided a few together, tied a couple knots on it, put a charm at the end. So that adds a little bit of bulk to it, if you wanted to do that. So yeah, it's just basically taking a string and tying beads on there as you see fit. So like I said, the bigger the holes in those beads, kind of the better. Some of them aren't going to want to work. That's fine. I just go to the next one, or you could get a needle out and thread this and try to do it that way. That's fine as well. This one kind of up here. I think I'm going to tie that one on. So yeah, just keep going along like that, tying them on as you go. And when you're done, you have a nice little charm for your journal. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's kind of brief and to the point, but if you have any questions, please comment. And if there's anything you'd like to see on my channel, please comment on that as well. I always like to hear what people like to see. Rude comments you can keep to yourself, right? But anyway, yeah, I enjoy doing these videos when I can. And please stay tuned. I'll be posting, hopefully later today or tomorrow, a video flip through of the completed journal using this charm. So anyway, there we are. Just go ahead and keep tying those on until you get the look that you want. And when you're done, you'll have a completed charm. And I'll put the link in the description box. Please like this video if you do, and subscribe if you haven't. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.